forwards. What is it that we're actually going to be doing as we build the foundations and take EVE into its second decade of operation? Well, there's an awful lot of space out there. One of the things that we get from all of our players is saying they came here because there is a sense of wonder, there's a sense of the unknown, there's a sense of when I undock I don't know what I'm going to find, and I like that uncertainty, and I like the fact that I can get involved and find things out. So, on June 4th, 2013, we will be releasing our 19th free expansion as EVE goes into its second decade of operation. And it will be EVE Online Odyssey. This will be about exploration. It will be about wonder. It will be about shaking up the landscape of EVE to make it fresh for everybody again, whether you're a 10-year veteran, whether you're a brand new player coming in. Let's have a little look at some of the things that are in there. So exploration, we've got a lot of really good new game modes, new exploration, new things to find, new reasons to get you out in space, either on your own, with other people, to cooperate, to fight against each other. There'll be reasons for everybody right through the spectrum to get back out, undock, stop spinning your ships and actually get involved. We've got some really good new words coming up, some new UI, we've got some really good concepts coming through. We're also looking at shaking things up. So if you have been in a very well-established alliance, watch out, because industry is going to be rebalanced. Where we're actually putting our resources, how we're making those things all hang around. We're going to start mixing up the landscape again. We're also going to be looking at things like your security status and how are the different ways that that will actually work. How are you going to be able to affect it? So we are going to be rebalancing things to make everybody have to wake up, sit up and stop being quite so comfortable. EVE is not supposed to be about a place in equilibrium, it's about people fighting over things. So that's what we're going to start putting together. But of course it's not all about, new things, shaking stuff up. So the rebalancing will continue. You guys no doubt have been watching Fozzie, who's been rebalancing right the way through the frigates, the cruisers, the battle cruisers. That one's going to continue as we start going up the ship classes. We're also going to be looking at dropping a load of new ships in, new faction ships, new navy ships, various other bits and pieces. And then of course the little things that we're always doing, if you remember back to the Retribution patch notes, there's been a huge amount of work in that. We're going to do the same again. So we've got quality of life improvements, we've got things going in for the people who are not happy with POSs, player instructions. So we're going to be putting some good things in around that. We're also going to be putting in some graphic updates. So we're going to be looking at hangars, we're going to be continuing the V3, we're going to be looking at a whole load of things to just make the game better, keep driving it forward into its second decade. And so the battle for Caldari Prime is just one thing which we've been working on. One of the things which has kind of died off in EVE over the last few years is a really engaging storyline, a backdrop for you, our players, to actually make your own stories against. We're going to start taking that up again. We're going to start picking it up. We've got a group of people who are actually going to be running events, making sure that the backstory continues, making sure that the role players amongst us actually have something to do. We're going to have a group who are going to be driving all of those things through so that we're trying to touch it so that everybody who plays our game has something to get excited about. And there's a whole lot more. So I'm not actually going to be telling everybody everything here today. We've got a number of events and things coming up where we're going to be teasing some of this information out. We've got FanFest. So anybody here going to FanFest? A few around the back. FanFest sold out in a record time this year. So we've got 1,400 EVE diehards who are going to be coming to Reykjavik at the end of April. And we're going to be giving a huge amount of detail about what's coming in Odyssey there. There's also going to be an HD stream for those of you who aren't going to be able to make it to Iceland for the party at the top of the world. Twitch, those are the guys who are going to be supporting us with that. So even if you're not able to make it there, you're going to catch all the information as it goes out live. Of course, dev blogs will be going out, and those will be really ramping up as we go through FanFest. And our social media team will be making sure that all of that stuff is available on Facebook, on Twitter, all of those places. So you should have plenty of ways to actually find more detail as we go through. And of course, get in the game. There'll be things in game for people to find out. There'll be teasers. There'll be things. So if you're actually in game, players in your corporation, players in your alliance, they'll actually be able to give you more information on what's happening. So, EVE, as we go into our second decade, and I think it's worth just taking a moment to think about that. How many games have actually been going for more than 10 years and are still healthy, and are still growing, and still getting bigger? Not many, but there are a few. EVE is doing it, but what we want is, we don't want where we are now. We want to take a step change. We want to, as I've said in a number of places before, we want this game to remain hardcore. We want loss to have a meaning. We want death to mean something here. But what we don't want it to take is a degree in playing EVE to be able to play EVE Online. We want it to be easy to learn but hard to master, because that's what our players want. They don't want to have to fight the UI. They don't want to have to fight all these horrible things which have grown up every 10 years. But they do want a tough game which weeds out people who don't want meaning, who don't want human interaction, who don't want loss. We want those hardcore players, and we won't go away from that. So, what else is going on as we go forward? EVE Online has been inducted into the Museum of Modern Art, New York, which is an amazing moment for us. They came to us and said that EVE was an amazing example of design, and frankly, we were just incredibly humbled by having our game in against things like The Sims, Tetris, Dwarf Fortress. There are just some real classics in there from way back, and they wanted EVE in there as an example as well. I'm flying out to San Francisco tomorrow. We've got GDC, we've got another player gathering that's happening on Tuesday night, so we'll see a lot more EVE fans there. Obviously, 10th anniversary, May 6th. Believe me, you want to have an account in game on May 6th. There is some very, very cool stuff that we're going to be giving away for our 10th anniversary. There'll be a whole load of other events going on around that as well. And of course, we've got a player event in Boston here tonight. Who's coming to that tonight? Good, looks like we've got a few people. So we'll go out, we'll have a few beers, you'll have a chance to quiz me a bit more and the rest of the guys. But we'll be having player gatherings whenever we go to any shows like this, just to give us more of an opportunity to really sit down and talk to you guys, and normally I get my ear bent off about how bad pauses are. So that'll be your opportunity for tonight. So, June 4th, that is when Odyssey is going to be going out. Thank you ever so much for being here, for being the first to hear about Odyssey, for getting a brief peek into what it is. I'm sure you'll have 1,000,001 questions, but thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you for playing our game. You're the people who are most important to us. Thank you.